Hello and welcome back to the Orion Arm. I am Mark, the man behind the curtain, and tonight we're continuing to build the star map for Dawn of Victory. If you don't know what that means, I'll do my best to explain it, but it's kind of complicated. We started a new series called The Way of World Building. In that series, we talk about how to do world building stuff, but just don't talk about it. We also make a world of our own. God, I suck at explaining this. I hate this. What is The Way of World Building? It's a series where I talk about world building, but also build a world concurrently with it. I guess that's what this is. And Dawn of Victory is the name of the universe we're building concurrently with The Way of World Building. I think that explanation makes sense. But if you're a veteran of the streams, hopefully you already knew all that. And if you're a newbie, ask someone better than me to explain it to you. But, I don't know, a couple reminders on how this is all going to work. First, the Dawn of Victory secondary channel on YouTube hopefully just popped up in chat. The map of the Orion Arm is visible on the internet right now, not completely updated. I didn't have a lot of time between this last stream and this current one, so I think it's a little out of date compared to the most recent stream, but hey, I'm working on it. After that, we got the wiki, which has lore, but hasn't been updated in a while, but we're getting on that, so expect some updates soon. And then finally, perhaps the most important link, a Google Doc where we have all the names of the systems that are appearing on this map. So if you want to help us keep track of stuff, you can use that document, and that would be very much appreciated. So, what did we do last stream? Oh, do I want to get into that right now? No, actually, you know what? So, despite what the name of the stream might tell you, this is actually session number 4, and I can prove it by going to our work screen. There we go, number 4. Hey, look at that. So after this next stream, I guess next week we'll be taking the week off, but then the week after that we'll be back and we'll be unveiling a new smaller section of the map. That's kind of my schedule. I'm thinking 4 streams, a week off, come back, reveal a new piece of the map. So I think the plan is going to be revealing the new Canaan corridor, which is right over there. Okay, plus next week, or I guess the week after, 2 weeks from now, we'll have some info on if you want to help contribute to the Dawn of Victory wiki that I just linked a while ago there. Need some contributors, volunteers to help keep track of all the lore we're putting out, because we'll be having more lore videos coming out on the secondary channel soon. So, man, a lot to talk about during these streams. I have been describing them as like half podcasts, half work streams, because a lot of talking. Also, I'm hearing that the screen is terribly blurry. Is it that bad? I was looking into that. I think it has to do with the software, the streaming software we're using to highlight comments. So I either got to fix that, although I've been trying, or we got to make a choice between being able to feature comments and being able to read. So that sucks. If it's completely unworkable, maybe we'll end things early, but I'll do my best to just power through. Okay, so what did we do last time? Well, added a bunch more stuff, more star systems around here. Added a bit more to the Indian Arm, but the major addition we did was the Vega cluster up here. This is a regional power kind of split between the Germans and the Soviets, and that's their big proxy conflict going on. Then, in the Amazonia cluster, added some more star systems throughout here, including the Argentine Arm and a place that I've been meaning to call. Let's grab the region there. The Bolivar Sea, which is possibly one of the regions we'll be working on today. Apart from that, I don't know, that was like, oh, we also added a bunch more star systems down here. Now, part of the reason why the map hasn't been updated is I ran into a bit of a roadblock when it came to names for these independent systems. I need a bunch of names, and I only have so many. So, there's a new bounty on that document I linked a second ago, but there's a new link in chat now. You'll find another tab at the bottom for an open bounty for independent star system names. And how this is going to work is submit names, and unlike other bounties, I'll be deleting the suggestions I think just don't fit or suck or whatever. So, that's kind of the plan. Submit names you think might work as some of these independent planets. I'll delete the ones I think don't work, and hopefully we can kind of figure out what the theme is. I don't really know what I'm looking for yet, which is the tricky thing. I don't know what to ask for, so I'm looking for whatever you got, and we'll flesh it out from there. Apart from that, though, anything else I need to go over? I guess not. I'll be working on the map and then intermittently answering questions from chat. As always, depending on the number of questions we get, priority will be given to the super chats and the like. And it looks like we already got 1 or 2, so thanks for those. But I gotta get to actually working on this sucker. And actually, before we can get into that, I want to put it out to chat and ask, what do you think the Well of Embers is? This is the stellar nursery we named last stream. And I had a couple of ideas for what this kind of region is. So idea number 1, wait! Oh my god, I almost forgot the most important thing. I said I wanted to start each stream with an explanation of how faster than light travel worked in this universe, with the idea being that the more I did it, the better I'd get at explaining it. And I think it's actually coming true. So if you'll forgive me, we'll return to the Well of Embers, but I want to go over FTL travel. So, all right, here we go. This is going to look like the ravings of an insane person, but what can he do? Okay, so we start here. God, this is kind of embarrassing. I wish I was better at drawing. All right, ships in Dawn of Victory can go faster than light in any direction. It's kind of like warp drive in Star Trek. Yeah, you're warping wherever you want to go. But it's combined with Battlestar Galactica in that ships don't necessarily actually move faster than light. They just jump instantaneously from one section of space to another. And they do that by utilizing something. Don't know what it is yet. Unobtainium gas, dilithium, not sure. But however they do it, they utilize it and it creates these instantaneous jumps. But it's kind of slow, so that sucks. However, where's my next part? Oh yes, there's these things in the galaxy called cosmic strings. They're leftovers of the Big Bang, and whatever cosmic strings are, they're full of the unobtainium gas that makes FTL work. So, these cosmic strings, over the millennia, trillions of years, have been kind of stretched out between planets and other centers of mass, right? So they become these conduits that enable travel from one star system to another because they're full of that unobtainium stuff. Okay, hopefully this makes sense so far. My confidence is wavering that I'm just rambling about fake science. But okay, I'll keep going. So, normally, FTL jumps are slow, you can only go so far, but if you jump within a string, your jumps become hyper efficient. No string, you gotta make a shitload of these random short jumps. On a string, maybe just 1 or 2. And I got some other notes here, do I need to read these out? Oh yeah, so not all strings are equal. Some strings are stronger than others, and generally, the stronger a string, the easier it is to map out. So the strongest strings were discovered first, and then secondary ones were mapped out later. All right, we gotta keep going. Cosmic strings connect star systems, right? They're attracted to mass, or maybe mass. I don't know. I'm not gonna get hung up on the science sort of thing. So, ideally, when you're traveling across strings, you want a situation like this. Hopefully I can... Hey, look at that. Where you jump from this star system to this star system, or to here, and then there, and then you make it in. You're in the star system. And your next destination is this star system, and you don't even need to do nothing. You can immediately jump over here to there, and then bam, you're there. Perfect, nice and easy. The less good situation is if you wanted to get to this star system, in which case the cosmic string corridors don't really line up. So you gotta jump into this system, then maneuver through the system, and then jump there. And this part here, this is where, that's how they get you. This is probably the longest part of the journey because it takes a long time to transit star systems. So sometimes you can go one from one star system to the other. Other times there's a roadblock in the way. I hope this makes sense. I think so. Plus, said that not all cosmic strings are equal. They're not. I represent them here by different colors. And in the early days of colonization, different nations became better at colonizing, or at least traveling across different strings. So, to get rid of all this and put it into context, the Germans were the best at kind of going in this direction. The Soviets were the first to crack through this system, and they made it out here. The Japanese probably cracked through the New Canaan corridor first, and they went there. And the Americans cracked the Tau Eridranus string first, so they headed into the Sea of Clouds. So that is my long-winded explanation of how FTL works, and maybe I won't go over that every stream. Maybe it'll go over it every 4 streams, because that was a lot of talking. Alright, and thank you everyone for the super chats. I will get to those, but I need to finally get to actually making the map. Which brings me back to my original question. What is the Well of Embers? In my original kind of thinking, this was going to be like a natural wonder, like a interstellar national park. Like not literally, but just in the sense that it's a interesting place that people want to visit, but there's nothing really there. There's no colonies, there's no infrastructure. It's just this kind of weird thing you can kind of visit. That's one option. I don't know if I love it, because then there's really no reason for anyone to go through the Well of Embers. And it looks cool, so you kind of want this to be integrated into the universe somehow. So, option number 2 is maybe it's like full of resources. Like maybe this is the gold mine, your El Dorado, your other example of a rich place. Yeah, and option number 3 is maybe it's just like a region like any other, where you have star systems with nations, other star systems that are empty, and it's just kind of like a replica of what the solar subcluster looks like, for example. So, I don't know. Let me know if you have any preference. And we'll go from there. Also, maybe this is the most important thing about the stream, so if you can remember this one part, I put a can of Coke in the freezer about 5 minutes before the stream started. And I know I'm gonna forget, because I want to drink it cold, but I didn't have it cold to begin with. So, in like 10 minutes, can someone remind me to go get that Coke out of the freezer? Because it's gonna explode, and it's gonna be a disaster. Okay, but, yeah, between Space El Dorado, Space, Yellowstone, Space Hawaii or something, whatever the natural kind of landform option is, and regular space, any preferences? Another option I had was thinking, this star system here, don't know how to pronounce the Russian, but it means lone feather in English. Like, what if this was here? Oops, it wasn't grouped. Okay, I can fix that. So what if that was there? And got to unlock all these layers. Like this kind of worked like that, maybe? Because I'm just thinking, the Well of Embers looks cool, so is the Well of Embers, like, directly in the, like, the line of exploration, or is it this weird kind of side thing that you go into? I think I'm kind of in favor of a side thing. Like, maybe there's, let's, go back to my legend here. This music, by the way, it's a Star Wars lo-fi sci-fi playlist on Spotify. And in the description it says, this is DMCA friendly or whatever, you're not gonna get a takedown notice or whatever the phrasing is. And maybe that's true on Twitch, not true on YouTube. I got hit by like 30 copyright claims, but I like this song, or this playlist, so what can you do? Alright, but maybe it kind of works like this. That's what. And there's like a way in. Is that too? Yeah, I don't hate that. What are people saying? Let's bring up the peanut gallery here. Cleo Pinto saying, resource rich but highly dangerous nebula. Don't hate that idea. Valuable resources but dangerous radiation. Could see it being a place where there's a lot of stellar activity, creating new elements to harvest. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, like a bunch of dying stars or new stars where there's a bunch of exposed, like, molten cores of planets and stuff. Add space dwarves in the Well of Embers. Probably not literally, but maybe some Scottish people? What nationality are dwarves? Sorry, I don't know what the typical Warhammer dwarf is supposed to be. What else do we got? Okay, a lot of dwarf talk. Well, one thing we talked about last stream was the idea that some star systems like exist off the strings, like they're just kind of out there, and the only way to get to them is to do this like bunch of short like jumps. So maybe the Well of Embers is one of those places where, yes, it's full of like resource-rich stuff. However, it's so dense, there's so many stars that travel between cosmic strings is non-existent, so once you get in there, you gotta rely on like shit jumps. And yeah, I think, okay, that's what it's gonna be. So let's like have this here. And I'm gonna remember to do this in the right layer for a change. And yes, thank you again for the super chats. I will be getting to those shortly. I just don't want to lose my train of thought here, because I think this is smart. Okay, so then the question is, how do we represent these on the map itself? Because I actually haven't thought about this. So it's like, let's pretend. I guess we don't need to pretend. Let's just have a bunch of colonies in here. Or not colonies, just star systems. Don't think anybody actually lives in the Well of Embers, apart from like on space stations and stuff. Yeah, the Well of Embers should be like a big corporate freelancer territory, where like if you want to make a maybe not a quick buck, but a reliable buck in the Orion Arm, you go to the Well of Embers, you pick out some mining claims, something like that. That seems kind of cool. I want to have a bunch of these little areas scattered throughout where like the Cold War is still going on, but if you were doing like a D&D game based in the Dawn of Victory universe, this would be like a good place to go. Again, I feel terrible because I'm covering up some of Tim's amazing work, but I like the idea that they're on some of these stars. We'll just pretend there's stars under these ones. Am I ruining this? Like, this looks so cool. Have I ruined it by putting a bunch of star systems over it? Maybe they should be more spread out. Yeah. I didn't anticipate this part of the world building process where I love the map so much that I feel bad putting anything on it. So then the question is, do we mark the unofficial star lanes on the map, or do we just assume that there's too many to bother putting down? Like, what if we did... like if it was a dashed line or something? You know, I don't hate that. I think that's kind of interesting. Except now I've ruined it. Okay. If this is your first time watching these streams, Illustrator, not my program of choice. I struggle with it. Alright, these lines are not like set in stone. This is me just like figuring out if this looks good. Oh shit, I kind of really like the look of this. Do I? I think I do. While I decide, let's check out the super chat situations. So, looks like they're coming in. Apologies it took me so long, but let's get to them now. Okay, starting off from Mango Goat. Thanks for the super chat saying, if dark matter is the fabric of reality, could FTL drives detect vibrations in DM, dark matter, and different nations developed AI to harness these frequencies? Shit, okay, I don't know enough about the science to dispute any of that. It all certainly sounds reasonable. I like the idea that AI was used to harness the frequencies. Like, presumably, you're sending out, you know, like a spaceship to like kind of map out the line. If it's using AI, then depending on the makeup or the personality or the whatever of the AI, different nations become better. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, that's kind of me just talking about it rather than answering your question, but I like that idea. That seems pretty slick to me. Burke Barnett, thank you very much for the super chat, saying, could India, NDA... Wait, you're referencing something on the map, I know this. Connect to West Vega. West Vega and NDA system could have different colored strings. Groups headed to north and turn to where NDA is now. It is a different string. Shit, this is a bit too complicated for me to kind of parse here. I'm sorry. Could India, NDA, different colored strings. Groups headed north and turn to where NDA is now. It is a different string. Sorry. Trying to parse this on stream is too much for me. Shoot me a message on Discord after this, and I'll talk to you about what you meant here, because I feel like you have a good point. I just trying to figure out the acronyms and stuff while also on stream. A bit too much for me. My apologies. Although, the idea that like India and Vega are connected, I can talk about that at least, right? Like maybe not exactly the way you're imagining it, but the concept. So the reason I don't want India and Vega connected too quickly, or too directly rather, is because I think that would make India too much of a player in the Orion or in this local cluster. India is only recently powerful because they've consolidated this local territory, and now they're trying to breaking out into these different areas. But if India is directly connected to Vega, I think that limits Vega's potential within this area of space, and I don't want to do that. So the idea is like more independent systems throughout here, and then India connects like kind of through there, and then they get to the Vega that way. The idea being that India is a big part of the local cluster, but they're actually kind of distant from it in some ways, where even though they're close, the way to get to these different locations is actually quite a while. So hopefully that makes some sense. I am really rambling in these answers. My apologies. No Stripe, thanks for the super chat saying, how powerful is the League of Nations? Are there any other big NGOs or charities across states? How about intergalactic sports competitions like the Olympics? Could there be a museum planet to hold all the artifacts and art safely from conflict? So a lot of questions there. I'll do my best. How powerful is the League of Nations? Not really. I'm still working on the basic idea. One idea is that there's a Security Council similar to the UN, except you don't need... you only need a majority to actually pass stuff, so maybe that's a way to make things more interesting, where you can't have one nation just block everything, but if like the Germans, Soviets, and Japanese all agree on something, then they can push it through even if the Americans try to veto it. So that's one idea. Any other big NGOs? Yes, there's a million everything. So another non-governmental organization might be something like Interpol, maybe, although that's kind of related to the UN. But yes, the answer is a lot of NGOs. Intergalactic sports competitions like the Olympics. Yeah, in the Discord, people are going, there's like an Olympics meme or something, but yes, the Olympics are a thing. And could there be a museum planet to hold all? Not one singular museum planet, but certainly museums on a bunch of planets. I'm sure the Smithsonian still exists, the British Museum, etc., etc. Okay, Jacob Mealer saying, are there any attempts to create cosmic strings? I don't think so. I don't think you can create them. I think you can only just map them out. So even if there's like a really shit string, like going from here to like here, you can't make a new one. You can't make this better. All you can do is just like map out its intricacies to get your engines hyper efficient on that route. I think that's how that's gonna work. The Well of Embers seems like a very chaotic region of space, so my guess would be that FTL travel is very difficult, if not impossible, similar to the unknown regions. Yeah, I think that's a good way to think of it, because especially if cosmic strings are meant to be disrupted by mass, meaning that you can't use FTL within a solar system. Therefore, if there's like a whole bunch of stars in close proximity, FTL lanes become disrupted. So yeah, that makes sense to me. And what is the status of Pakistan? Since it's a nuclear country and one of the top 5 most populated countries in real life, I would assume it's significant enough to have a cluster of stars. Yes, the plan is India and Pakistan both used FTL drives provided by the British. Ended up, the Indians ended up in the Indian arm, you know, who predicted that. And I think the idea is that Pakistan is going to be around here somewhere, and that things have kind of worked out by 2289 or 85, where India and Pakistan are now partners. So, you know, some stuff works out in the future, and people can put aside old grievances. Okay, next up. Man, there's a lot of these coming, and I might need to get back to editing shortly here, so I might need to come back to these questions. But thanks so much for the super chats, guys. Very much appreciated. If it's now faster to travel via acute jump angles than systems, wouldn't major trade lanes be more sawtooth shaped than linear as you've done on the map so far? Chokes the opposite. Possibly. I wouldn't get too hung up on like the angle side of things. Like, that's just a way to quickly visualize it. And because we're working in 3D space, I think there's enough leeway to just be like arbitrarily kind of say, like, you know, on this one you got to go all the way through, but on this one you can jump immediately. So I'm not gonna get too hung up on the specific angles, and it'll be kind of just what makes sense for the region. So yeah. Okay, I'll get through the last of these super chats, and then it's back to the old world building journey and world build. Oh, and I'm sorry, that was from Sika. I pronounce all names wrong. My apologies. And Journey and World Building, I can pronounce those words, saying, hello from Australia, great to catch your stream, huge fan and patron. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for inspiring my own world building project. Keep up the amazing work. Hey, I will try. I don't know if this counts as amazing work, but I think eventually we'll get there. Right now, I'm just kind of struggling to figure out Illustrator and working out ideas. We're right. Mr. Iron Knight saying, with the amount of treasonous collaboration between the Western corporations, many of which are around today, collaborated with Axis. Does that still occur? Yeah, that's kind of a scary question, right? I was reading this thing, and because of the way the economy is globalized in our modern world, you know, if there's World War III, would American corporations flock to the American government in the same way they did during World War II? Maybe not. So, similar stuff is probably happening. I think business interests are maybe not as ideologically aligned as governments might want them to be, is my answer. Alrighty. Name one of the Well of Embers systems, Firefly or Serenity. I don't know about maybe Serenity. What planet was Serenity on, or what system was Serenity in? Maybe that's what we add to the Well of Embers. I'm not against the idea of homages to Firefly, especially. Hey Mark, I asked on the server, but I wanted to ask about the FTL theory and practice for the hyperlanes. I posted my own lane system for the settings, so I can't really address Discord stuff on stream here. I'll get to this if I can, but a lot of people have been sending me a lot of stuff. There's only so much I can really go over at a time, but thank you for the super chat. Apologies if I can't address your stuff directly. And been loving all the world building. It's going great. Been loving the streams. Also remember to get the Coke. Right, the Coke. Okay, I will be right back. I'm getting my Coke. So when we come back, I'll get back to fleshing out the Well of Embers here. Thanks for reminding me, and see you in 2 minutes. All right, and we're back. Haven't opened a Coke yet, but it's probably fine, right? Okay, so, Well of Embers. Actually, I'll play Russian roulette on stream. I will open this Coke. If it froze too much, it will explode. It's fine. Okay, we're good. All right, Well of Embers. So I like the idea of these dotted lines. I think that's smart. Will they be distinguishable enough at... Yeah, that looks good. Okay, I'm fine with this. So I'm thinking just like a bunch of like small clusters. So this seems a bit like too fake, but there's always like groups of 2, so maybe there's 3 there. Something like that. I do like the idea of this just being like a maze of star systems full of riches. Okay, so now to add the lanes. And is the best way to do this to just add lanes between all the different star systems, so it kind of shows that you can go wherever you want? Possible. Oh man. Let's fix this first. Yeah, there it is. Give this one a bit more space, maybe. Just want independent to be, maybe I'll go like that. Like this. That way the line is not being covered up. Okay, that looks good to me. Maybe a bit tighter on the clusters, though. And thanks again for the super chats coming in here. I will get to them, not shortly, but eventually. I really like the density of stars around the solar subcluster, the local cluster in general. So I'm trying to kind of get that same density over here. And I think I've kind of done it. So I guess the question, do any of these routes make no sense whatsoever? No, this all seems like more or less, and I really do like the look of those dotted lines in the Well of Embers. That's pretty slick. Okay. If you would like to submit names that might possibly appear in the Well of Embers, feel free to do so. There is a bounty in the attached document. Hopefully just showed up in chat. Just to make a little note in the notes section saying that this is for the Well of Embers section of the map, because I'm looking at all these star systems and holy god, do I need a bunch of names. And that's already freaking me out. Okay, I don't want to go too far. I feel like that is a good amount of star systems. Possibly too many, but we can always come back later. Again, whether it's stuff I'm adding to the map or stuff I'm saying in these streams, this is just a first draft I'm working on here, so nothing set in stone. Who knows how things will end up. I see chat is talking about the cosmic snail. What did I miss? I have no idea. I don't recall seeing a cosmic snail, but I'm not that observant all the time, so you never know where it could be. Damn, I think this kind of rules. I spend a lot of time like being kind of finicky on where star systems should be placed, but I feel like I've nailed this. Wait, this, okay, so something about the hyperlanes looks like a snail. That's... I don't see it. Like the Well of Embers is the snail? How is that a snail? I guess, like, that is the thing? I'm not acknowledging this. I refuse to give any credence to the idea that that looks like a snail. So, no. I'm not gonna hear this. Nope. Nope. No goddamn snails in the Well of Embers. The well is snail free. The Snail of Embers. The Well of Snails. What have we done? Okay, but I do like the look of that. I feel like there needs to be more ways actually in. Although these would not. These would be actual, like, star routes, whatever we're calling these. Translight lanes. So these are temporary, just so I don't forget that I want to do this in the future. Yeah, that is cool. I really like the... I know I keep saying this, but I think this is a great visual distinction. And I kind of want to add that over here as well. Have that be like a smaller kind of thing going on here. A smaller instance of the same concept is what I'm trying to say. What did I just do? What am I doing? Okay. So if this was like Freelancer Zone number 1, then Freelancer Zone number 2 is going to be kind of around here. In the Danga Deeps. And it's not going to be quite as crazy as the Well of Snails, whatever the hell you people are calling it. I will eventually figure out Illustrator. Not necessarily today, but eventually. And of course, that breaks the whole thing. So I gotta do this like this. There we go. Except now it's... Okay, I gotta just get it really close, but they can't actually touch. Is that what I'm learning here? Illustrator, my nemesis. Okay, I don't think this quite turned out as well as the Well of Embers in terms of star system placement, but I don't hate it, and we can build off of it from there. I feel like maybe we need more stuff kind of just, maybe like that, actually, that's kind of looks good. Something like this. Always in the wrong layer. I'll get to this eventually. Oh, this is The Mandalorian. Okay, I know this song. I like that a bit better. And I feel like there's maybe like a few of these clusters. Actually, maybe there should be one of those too. Yeah. So maybe people are making like a bit of a run from a star system I can't pronounce, Pantla, to Roche. Do some space mining, make some money, see what's out there. Yeah, I like the look of that pretty good. That's maybe just like maybe one more kind of cluster of star systems. Further in like that, but yeah, the main effort into the Danga Deeps is happening in here. Bunch of mining operations, I assume. I tell you, the dotted line is the greatest invention since the non-dotted line. It's gonna revolutionize space maps forever. I think the paradigm has shifted here, folks. I think we all came here together, and I think we're all gonna leave a little bit different, a little wiser. Because I think these dotted lines are really doing it for me. I don't know why, but I truly believe this was a great discovery that I made here today. Okay, so Well of Embers is looking pretty solid. What next? I kind of want to just finish doing the perimeter of the Danga Deeps. Like, let's get the whole thing. So I assume that, like, they probably connect this way. And thanks again for the super chats, folks. I will be getting to them in time. Just want to get some more work done on the map itself. And I can only concentrate on so much. I tell you what, though, I don't think there's too much going on this side of the Danga Deeps. I feel like there's just like long connections over here. Don't know why I feel that. Maybe it's just because not everywhere can be like a really crowded place with a bunch of star clusters. That feels a bit too long because the route between Sigma Draconis and Tau Eridanus should be like a pretty long string by the standards of the day. So if there's other ones that are kind of like, or that are kind of that long, that ruins that slightly. So let's get this shortened up a bit. But Tim has also been adding these like little clouds into this transitional zone between the Danga Deeps and the Sea of Clouds that are kind of interesting. So the question is, I don't know what these guides are doing here. I'm sure I had my reasons. Maybe there's like a little cluster of planets here, of star systems here as well. Don't hate that idea. I don't know why, but this feels like a pirate cluster to me. Your Space Tortuga. But I do like it being really close like this. Well, that looks a bit too perfect. Yes. Nailed it. Although this is getting like a bit too zigzaggy for my taste, and it's like following the... or it's conforming to the nebulous a bit too much. And a lot of the time I love doing that because it looks so cool, but I feel like in this instance it's coming across like too fake, you know? And I don't know why that is. I couldn't explain it if you put a gun to my head, so I prefer if you did not do that. Does that look any better? No, I don't think I even need this stupid thing. Do we need another star system here? Like, what is this doing for me? And how do I get rid of it? Alright, damn you, Illustrator. I will figure this out one day. Not today. There, I did it. And do I even like that? I guess I do. Okay, that's something. I hope everyone's world building process is as messy as this. I would hate to start this whole series and just out myself as like the most incompetent person. Although really, this is a more graphic design than world building, so I don't know if it's fair to judge me. This maybe. Yes, I don't know why that seems to work. Or it doesn't. I don't know. I'm just messing around. Always using the wrong button. There we go. Okay, so this is here. So then I'm kind of thinking this goes from here to here. And in keeping with my new theme where I'm obsessed with like those dotted lines, maybe this is like another kind of... I think I said I wanted to be this like a pirate area, right? And presumably one of the reasons why it's a pirate area is because travel is a little less refined, easier to jump away and get away with it. Yeah, God, that looks good. You'd love to see it. A lot of star systems on this map. Like, I wonder how many we're actually up to. Probably closing in on 100 if we haven't already passed it already, is my guess. Which means, if my estimate is accurate about there being roughly 1,000 stars on this map, we're 10% of the way through. That doesn't sound completely crazy. I think that's probably looking about right. Okay, well, while I'm thinking about that, let's get some more super chats read out. Okay, first up. Perhaps the Well of Embers is like the Bermuda Triangle in space. Lots of weird disappearances and ghost stories circulate, but it's just a matter of how difficult it is to map and navigate. Yeah, I could see that. I've been using the Bermuda Triangle analogy to refer to the Danga Deeps a lot, but I can see with the Well of Embers having a similar kind of vibe, especially if they both have these kind of zones with a bunch of independent, not connected star systems, just full of weirdos and megacorps and whoever else. Because both areas seem like a navigational mess. So yes, I think you're on the money. Okay, maybe have the well. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to read on names on that last one. My apologies. But TR4BR saying maybe have the Will of Embers undergo a type of gold rush / land grab scenario, or even as a new type of new corporate system. Don't know about corporate systems. That's something I kind of want to avoid in this setting, at least in the main areas of space. But the gold rush land grab scenario, I do like that. That seems appropriate. Like maybe the first kind of path between this system here and this system here gets opened up, and all of a sudden people just like pouring in. Yep, makes sense to me. And Blue Space saying, so are all the strings public knowledge, or do nations try to keep them secret from others? If so, how does this impact the universe? So the cosmic strings themselves aren't secret. They're too detectable to really be kept secret. What is secret is some of the engine specifications. So American engines, for example, really good at traversing the Sea of Clouds because they have been mapping out the cosmic strings there for 100 years. Ditto with the Soviets in their own space, the Germans in their own space. So they're not exactly giving away the specifications of the strings, like whatever it is that they're mapping these strings for. They're not exactly going to tell their rivals, here's how we did it, and here's how you can travel really fast. So that's the idea there. Hopefully that answers your question. We love the Well of Snails, best part of the map. So I don't see it, and this isn't me trying to be like funny. Oh, I guess I kind of see it. Okay, so it's like the snail shell is like this thing, and then like I don't know what snails look like, but this seems like what I'm getting at, right? Is that what I'm seeing? Okay, yep. Yeah. I would make fun of you guys more, but that is way more accurate than all real constellations. So I can't say shit. And Strachigo saying nothing, but hey, thanks for the buck, appreciate it nevertheless. One of the systems in the Danga Deep should be called Cyclops after the USS Cyclops, the largest ship to go missing in the Bermuda Triangle. You know what? I don't want to set a precedent that you can just spend 10 euros and get a system named whatever you want, but that is a solid suggestion. And Cyclops also even ties into the Greek theme we got going on here with because like they encountered the Cyclops on the Odyssey, right? Possibly near Ithaca, and maybe Athena was involved. So yep, okay, it makes sense to me. Let's make it one of these cool systems though. Maybe it's like here. Cyclops gonna be down here. That is not how you spell that. Is that right? Cyclops? Does that? All right, if that's not right, I will find out later. Okay. And sorry, I forgot to say her name on that one. Artidigos, I think it was. But thanks for the super chat. And Strachigo saying nothing again. Huh. Well, thanks for the money, but hope you're not trying to tell me something that I'm missing here. Okay, I am Nero. Thanks again for the super chat. Or thanks to everyone for the super chats, is what I'm trying to say. The Well of Embers should be like Antarctica, but right before the treaty expires, so companies and nations are ready to exploit it the second they can. That's an interesting idea. I don't hate it. I would have that's like a big deal to figure out. I'd have to work out a bunch of stuff for that to make sense. But I like the idea of like the opposite of a 99-year lease where we have this agreement for 20 years. We're not going to exploit this area for some reason, and then all of a sudden that drops. I'd have to look into that, but that's an interesting idea. Okay, what else do we got? How far do body modifications go? Are people getting cybernetics? Do you have people getting tails or inhuman eyes, even surgically added? How advanced is medicine and other fields like transplant medicine? So body modifications don't go completely crazy. I'd say cybernetics are pretty common. I think one of the first things you get done in your teens is you have like the Google visor implanted into your eyes so you can see augmented reality without having to wear a headset, like it's just always on. But no like crazy genetic modifications. Medicine's really good purely because, you know, the genetic counselors are, you know, going through your code, making sure it's all up to snuff, probably before you're even born. So that's kind of the thinking, but nothing too crazy. And Fire Warrior just sent in $2. Thank you, or €2. I think I can't really read the, but nevertheless, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And Commando 47 saying, you mentioned pirate clusters. Are these systems that pirates flee with maybe a station or two, or are these closer to semi-organized pirate states used as a safe harder, possibly seeking recognition from the great powers? So, pirates in Dawn of Victory is something I've been thinking about a lot. And I'll have way more to say about this, but the idea is that pirates in Dawn of Victory don't act like typical space pirates in most sci-fi, which I think are too cartoonish. Like, you know how in Starfield, you know, like it's this very realistic looking aesthetics, and then the first pirate you meet has like an eye patch bolted over his space helmet, and it just seems so weird. I don't want it to be like that in Dawn of Victory. Space piracy in DoV needs to be more realistic. So when we say that these are like pirate enclaves, I guess what I'm saying is these are places full of economic opportunity, but with limited security and independent settlements where pirates can flee to. No pirate state can really operate in the open. Like, there's no pirate bases, no pirate space stations, no pirate colonies. What you have instead are colonies, space stations, whatever it is, that happen to be full of pirates, and good luck proving who's who. So that's kind of the idea. Okay, and Rosset saying, have you decided on the fortress system? I don't know if we're gonna have like your Acadia-style fortress systems. Well, I guess you'd have to, right? Because certain systems just make sense as choke points. But I don't know how fortresses are gonna or how fortress systems are gonna look. I know that you want to stop them from getting to the planet, so maybe minefields and space stations as opposed to a bunch of Cadians. Oops, all right. And the Skeptical Apple saying, good work, wish I could stay up for all of it. Hey, well, thank you very much, and these streams are all archived, so you're not missing much. At least you can always, you know, come back to it. All right, I will try to do my best to read some non-super chats before the end of the stream, but for now, though, I want to get back to putting on star systems. So I feel like I'm making a lot of progress around the deeps here. Let's keep that going. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I want to add Turkey. I've been saying I wanted to add Turkey for a while. Let's finally do it. And I kinda think I figured it out. So in real life, Turkey is, I guess, famous, or I don't know. Turkey just controls those straits to the Black Sea. And that's kind of this interesting geopolitical element. And I think we said that in Dawn of Victory, history doesn't repeat, but it sometimes rhymes or something. I don't know, we had a cool phrase. So I feel like in the future, whoops, also, did this thing not work correctly? Where is it? I missed the symbol. Hold on, I'm gonna finish this. Okay, but the idea is that Turkey is not gonna control the important choke point directly this time around, but they're gonna be close enough that they can control it indirectly. So hopefully that's like close enough to history without it coming across kind of cheesy. And also, why can't I zoom in on this stupid thing? Come on, help me out here. Okay, is this... There we go, there we go. Okay, why isn't that... This shouldn't be taking this... Like, Illustrator is so weird in how it does stuff. Okay, there we go, now it's working. Okay, haha! So, this is the new Canaan corridor. It goes from here to here and connects a vital place in the Orion Arm that we haven't revealed yet. And we haven't even revealed the new Canaan corridor quite yet. But, I think Turkey's gonna be nearby. Is it above it or is it below it? I think Turkey is right here. So what happened here? So this is a string that was unlocked right around here by the Japanese. This whole area was unlocked basically by everybody. So don't really know where Turkey got their FTL drives from, but it doesn't matter because it didn't make it out too far into the Orion Arm. They're in this little cluster over here. And this works out well for Turkey because they're close to New Canaan. New Canaan is important. Okay, yep, got it. Again, this is just like a rough draft, so not necessarily all these ideas are going to stick around, but just coming up with the basics is good enough for now. And without giving anything away, I think the next bounty for next stream is going to be Turkish star systems. Unless I come across a naming scheme I really love. Alright, so New Canaan is an important star system. It links to the Turkish capital, which is here. Like so. Further down, like this. And then from there, Turkey gets access to an entire cluster, so they're living large. Hopefully that's somewhat near the center. I'm gonna have to come back and, again, wrong layer, damn you. And I can hear the super chats coming in there, folks. Very much appreciated. Thanks so much, but I will get to them just in a few minutes here. So I think Turkey probably is more powerful in terms of Orion Arm geopolitics relative to where they are in the modern world. I've been watching some YouTube videos that says talking about how Turkey is right on the cusp of becoming a major regional power again. So we kind of want to reflect that in this universe, but with an extra 20 years for them to consolidate and get to work on that. So this looks too much like an arrow. I gotta figure out something that looks better here. I don't like the look of that. Okay, maybe like something like this. Yeah, I think this is looking okay. Again, the exact positioning of the cluster I'm not in love with, but as long as I can get something close enough just at the start. Maybe they're spread out just very slightly. I kind of want to keep Turkey in a tight cluster just to set the standard that that's a thing that is actually good, that most nations are trying to accomplish here, which is that you want to be nice and centralized, not too spread out. Again, I'm not in love with the way this looks in the same way I am with the World Embers, but I think that is good enough for now. So, Turkey. Another question is, are they still called Turkey? Or maybe they changed their name? I think they're probably still called Turkey, but a question to ask, certainly. What'd I just do? what am I doing here? Okay, I'm selecting this. Okay, 4th time's the charm. So this puts Turkey in a pretty critical spot because they can't close the New Canaan corridor directly. Or, I mean, they could do it directly, but it would involve them basically occupying New Canaan. And I got a feeling that New Canaan is basically a puppet of Turkey, maybe? Or maybe they're partners. At the very least, Turkey is a major player in the New Canaan corridor. Is the thinking. Like that, maybe? Okay. And also on my list of some stuff I wanted to do this stream is the Bolivar Sea, which is where we're putting. I've called it not Grand Colombia because I do not think the name of the nation should be Grand Colombia, but the concept is the same as Grand Colombia, so here we are. But this is most of the nations in South America that are not Brazil, Argentina, or Chile. Oh, and Chile, by the way, not sure if we added them last stream, but they got their 2-star systems over here. Okay, but I need shorter names for these star systems or this map's gonna get a little convoluted. Alright, fine, I'll call it Grand Colombia temporarily. And doing the same thing with them that we did with Turkey. The question is how powerful, or not how powerful, but how many star systems do they control? Are they similar in Turkey? Are they a bit bigger, a bit smaller? I think they're a bit smaller than Turkey. Turkey has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish stars. Okay. Maybe Grand Colombia has 5? Not exactly sure how they're going to be connected. Something like this, perhaps. Yeah, okay, so like that. I don't hate that. And I gotta say, now that I'm seeing a lot of these different icons on the screen at the same time, I think this system works pretty well. So you're looking at this. Hopefully it's not too blurry, but does the political situation in the Bolivar Sea like feel pretty easy to figure out? Like, looking at this, you got a sense of what's going on? Hopefully you got at least the basis, right? Chile, Grand Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, the relationship between them hopefully is kind of making a bit of sense. And maybe there's like a few independent systems just to keep things interesting. Bolivar Sea is getting a bit crowded, but I don't hate it. might need to come back to this, but 5 star systems compared to... I don't necessarily want the number of star systems to indicate how powerful the nation is, because there'll be exceptions, but it does make kind of a nice shorthand. Also, the Grand Colombia icon looks great on this map. I really like the way that looks. That's cool. Okay, but that's good enough for now. One thing that I do want to bring up on the stream, though, is that we named these 7 Indian star systems after rivers in India, and then we called them the 7 rivers. Now, this is actually kind of extraordinary, because it turns out the 7 rivers is actually already a thing in India, and we got some of them right. So this was an example of me accidentally describing something that already exists in Indian culture. So we didn't get all of them right, but I think what's going to happen is we're going to go through these star systems again and rename them so they do align better or perfectly with the actual 7 rivers of India. So that's the game plan there. Oh, and I see something relevant in chat, so here we go. What do we got here? Hey Mark, a Colombian here. I wanted to ask, any ideas for what we'd be calling the capital of Grand Colombia? Will you settle the old dispute between Bogota or Medellin being the capital? I do not know. See, this is why I want to stream these world building sessions, because that is a question I did not even know that I needed to look into. So I will add that to my list. Chile capital. The actual answer is probably neither. I assume that the capital probably going to be given a new name, something more unifying. We've been going with rivers, mountains, things that are shared with everyone in the country, but not tied to a specific city or region or whatever. So trying to be inclusive through nature. But there's exceptions. Some of these Argentine star systems are just named after cities and stuff, but a lot of this is still temporary, so we'll get there. I kind of want to make the Bolivar Sea an important area. I guess another thing I can talk about is I don't know why, but I've been thinking about this whole setting in terms of RPGs a lot, like tabletop RPGs. I don't play tabletop RPGs that frequently, so I don't know why it's the thing I keep coming back to, but I like the idea that if you were going to make an RPG about Dawn of Victory, you wouldn't make like DOV, the RPG. You would instead have to do like the local cluster would be its own thing. And that's why I want to create all these different dynamics, so that like maybe you run an entire campaign entirely situated in the Amazonia cluster. If that's the case, then the Amazonia cluster has to be just as interesting as any other part on the map. So that is the feeling. Because like, how many times do you see Colombia or Brazil or Argentina in space? Like, their section of the map has to look cool too, is the thinking. I don't know. One man's thought. Okay. Yeah, this is coming together. So we got Turkey, we got... This area here is giving me some troubles. I am not sure, like, should this be connected in a giant kind of circle, or should these just both go their separate ways? I guess America needs a way to get to the New Canaan corridor relatively quickly, though. So Americans got to the cluster through here. Maybe they get to the New Canaan corridor through here. Yes, I am fine with that. Okay, so... So why are there seagulls in this song? That's kind of strange. Odd choice. I feel like triangular clusters might be a useful tool. Whenever I don't know what to do, I'll make a triangle. Make it like this. Oops. Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty effective way of making something look cool. Okay, so then... Do I like that? I think I like that. I think that's fine. Let's make the pirate kingdom a bit cooler looking. Something like this. No, that doesn't look good. Why doesn't that look good? Better. If nothing else, I'm getting very used to the settings I'm supposed to put in here. Okay, stroke, dashed line, yes. Why? What's going on here? Why does it look weird? There we go. Okay, I like that. Oh, you know what? I feel like this is a shortcut. Yeah, that's what's happening here. So you can... What can you do? So what if... There's two major lanes. One goes through there, one goes through here, and you can kind of cross them by going through this little cluster here. Unfortunately, pirate hideout. Rough idea, but I don't hate it, so we'll progress along that assumption that this is what's happening in the galaxy. Also, are these cosmic strings too long? No, they're long, but not too long. Something like so. And then from independent to independent. something like that. I'm going to keep accidentally doing that for the rest of the time, so this has to go there. Huh. Yeah, don't hate that, although I think this should be closer. Yeah, so this system should be much closer to there, meaning that the bridge between them is not an actual string, but a fake string. It's just these two systems get very close. So if you're gonna make your jump, that's the place to do it. Okay, I think it's an interesting dynamic. I'm liking that. One thing I kind of want to do maybe is just actually get this even tighter and have these come even closer, but for now I'll keep it as is. And what else can we do in this map? I'm actually making some pretty good progress. The Ball of RC, the Well of Embers, and the rest of the Danga Deeps were kind of my main objectives for the stream. So with that in mind, let's go to the old super chats, shall we? With how cosmic oh, I'm sorry, this is from Ceramic. Thanks for the super chat, saying, with how cosmic strings work, would it be a viable military tactic to use blind jumps instead of cosmic strings to get to the other side of the system? So this is one of those things that I kind of gotta like work out and figure out how the system's actually gonna function. But the idea is, like, during a military campaign, because there's certain places to jump into the system that make the most sense. Like, if you're trying to get to this planet, oops, why is it disappearing? Also, what is with this audio? This is kind of freaking me out. Is that going in? Where does this go? Okay, well, the point is, if you're trying to get to this planet, there's certain approaches that make the most sense. But you don't always have to follow them. God, I'm sorry, I'm trying to explain this, but at the same time, I can't understand why my stuff is just disappearing on me. I demand to know, is it because it's not set to this? Come on, I try hard. Why isn't this working? Okay, well, the point is, yes, it kind of is a good tactic. Oops, am I gonna delete something? Okay, it is kind of a good tactic to use a blind jump. It's not necessarily blind. It's basically you follow the string until you're almost at the system, then you kind of do a micro jump to kind of position yourself somewhere else where you're not expected. But then whoever's in the system also has a bunch of sensors on the perimeter. So I hope that rambling answer and me trying to figure out what's going on in Illustrator kind of answers your question there. So apologies if it didn't. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff for a second. Okay, Matthew asking, first time able to catch a stream. Love the map's aesthetic. Not sure if it's been asked, but any sort of super strategic weapons or something else to enforce mutually assured destruction, nukes, relativistic kill vehicles, death rays, etc. I can't recall if we've talked about this at all, but strategic weapons are a thing in the setting, but not enough to cause mad, simply because we still want conventional warfare to be a thing. And the idea is that any interstellar ballistic missiles would require, they need to be able to make all these jumps, and that gives your enemy too much of an opportunity to intercept them, since all FTL jumps are really visible on sensors. So that's kind of the basic idea as it stands right now. And Astrid Lilligant saying, are there any stations or planets that act like UN buildings, places where the laws of individual nations don't necessarily apply, where intergalactic politics and things of that nature are discussed? Yes, the headquarters of the League of Nations is on Alpha Centauri, and this is your Babylon 5 star system where all the powers come together and discuss things. So I think we discussed the Security Council being part of the League of Nations. That's all on Alpha Centauri. So that is the thinking there. And Blue Space asking, are any planets an ecumenopolis? How rare are habitable worlds, or do planets require extensive terraforming to become habitable? So no planets are an ecumenopolis. In fact, quite the opposite. No planet in Dawn of Victory has the same number of people that Earth did before the evacuation. Simply because, you're taking the population of one planet and spreading it across a bunch. So even on like the most developed world, like your big capitals, probably no more than 100 million across the entire planet. But because of the way colonization and settlements work, they're situated in really tight clusters on the planet. So an analogy would be like if Earth had a population of, 20 million people, but 10 million of those were in like a mega city in Tokyo or something. So again, hopefully that's an answer. Habitable worlds are common. And terraforming on most is, it can be a huge effort on some, but not on all. So plenty of worlds to go around. And Sir Badgerton asking, did America get split like OG Dawn of Victory? Yes, that is still the idea. In OG Dawn of Victory, also known as DOV Classic, America got split into regular America and the Pacific states, and we still have those in right now. Haven't fleshed them out too much, so don't know how it's actually gonna function yet. And, hey lad, this is from Firewire, by the way, saying, does Portugal still exist? And if yes, what faction are they in? Since they were somewhat fascist and fond of Franco and Mussolini, but not that paper-hanging son of a bitch, and maintained the Anglo-Portuguese alliance. Not sure on Portugal. Probably got swallowed up in the Axis, so apologies there, but no final decision made quite yet. And again, just because Portugal is part of the Axis doesn't mean all Portuguese are. There might be other colonies or whatever. So there's that. And Jacob Mueller saying, I feel like there should be more visual emphasis on capital systems. Yes, I agree. What's a way I could do that? I guess the easiest method would just be like emphasizing the text somehow, right? Like, how would that work? It's already bold, so I can't really do much there. Like, one method might be just increasing the size of the text very slightly. I don't hate that approach. Another thing we could do is maybe add some sort of modifier like around the capital system. Like, this is just my temporary kind of something like that, maybe. But the point is, I agree with you, and we'll be working to figure out the best way to do that. Okay, let's keep saving this sucker. And I liked that we actually fully linked the Danga Deeps. That is pretty slick. So what do we need to worry about next? Let's just also clean up the document. So I'm not... Okay, layer 13 contains artwork. Well, what does this contain? Just a random line. Okay. So, because I'm kind of running out of ideas, I'm just trying to I'm going to start like marking what my kind of thoughts are at this point. So, in the same way that we got Turkey there, I kind of wanted to have another major nation around here. Kind of another power that could compete with Turkey to influence New Canaan. I think that would be an interesting dynamic because, my thinking is that Turkey is probably aligned... Well, it's not aligned with anybody. Turkey's neutral, but maybe they're OTO friendly, maybe they're Axis friendly. So if they have a competitor on the other side of the New Canaan corridor, that's an interesting dynamic. So that's something. So somebody is going to be here. I just don't know who. I was thinking possibly the East African Federation would be here. But I kind of want to have them further out, because the East African Federation's a big deal, so I don't want to have them in the local cluster. They gotta be further out. Who else could be around here, though? So, I think we wanted Pakistan to be here. And we need something around here, because the Soviet Union needs a way to get into the Vega cluster. The question is, I think this is going to be a lot of neutral space. Or not neutral space, but independent space. Although that looks like India. Whatever, the point is, nothing too much around here. I want to keep this mostly empty. And we have Italy, actually, is going to be here. Argentina's there, Italy's there. And that's not even getting into the Sea of Clouds, but the Sea of Clouds might have to wait. Because Germany itself is up there, so presumably we got like the Balkans somewhere around here, and the other Axis states would be around the periphery. But in terms of other big nations in the local cluster, we might be at our limit. So that would put us at what? The great powers are India, Brazil, Alpha Centauri. Regional powers, Vega, Tau Ceti, Sirius, Vesta. And then I'm forgetting nations like Grand Colombia, Argentina. I feel like the dynamic, I feel like this is a pretty good representation of what each region in Dawn of Victory should look like. A few major powers, more regional, a lot of minor. So my goal should be adding a lot of the regionals and minor powers. Okay. This isn't making sense. What's chat saying? Viva Space Vegas, okay. Bachelin asking, what about Mexico? Yeah, Mexico is one that I'm trying to figure out, because I know that not being part of NATO is actually a pretty major part of Mexican foreign policy, right? Is that accurate? So it might not make sense for Mexico to be part of Odo the way they were in the original series, but maybe they're still in the Sea of Clouds. Like maybe Mexico used American engines. So Mexico in the Sea of Clouds, not in Odo, is my thinking. Like Mexico could be around here or something. Robin Larone Williamson asking, is Scotland in? Well, I mean, yeah, Britain is in. Scotland is in Britain. Ergo, Scotland is in. I'm sure there's like a new Edinburgh or a new Glasgow or a new other Scottish city somewhere out there. Okay, so what can I add here? The other question is there anybody in here, or is this just like a transit route? I think probably just a transit route. And Money Grows asking, hey Mark, would you consider adding one abnormally large cosmic string that is super important? Kind of. I want to keep cosmic strings no bigger than this one. I think this is probably like a representation of an abnormally long cosmic string. But there will be important pathways, I guess you might say. Especially the one leading to the Empire of Japan, although we haven't gotten there quite yet. Also, a lot of talk about snails. I guess that was a mistake to make this shape. But if the East African, or, you know, whatever it ends up being, if this nation is here... So if they're maybe like right here... Oops, I'm just butchering this thing. I do like the idea that the Well of Embers is kind of a shortcut. For some people, you can get in, get out. The question is, what is in here? What is in here? While I'm trying to figure out that question, let's get to some more super chats. We got at least a couple, I believe. Mr. Blah saying, could be Iran who competes for New Canaan. Yeah, that is a good suggestion. Although Iran and Turkey being rivals again in the future, I don't know, that might be a bit too much. That might be history repeating rather than rhyming. But where Iran ends up on this map is something I still need to kind of figure out. Alright, but that's good food for thought, thank you. And Burke Barnett suggesting Mexico across from Turkey. Okay, that's an interesting suggestion. So Mexico is here. Does that make sense? American engines went this way, but I guess they could have been all right. Yeah, that's not impossible. That would put them next to Mexico, Pakistan, India, and Turkey, and Brazil. All right, possibly something to consider. Thank you for bringing that up. But you know what? I feel like we've hit a pretty good natural endpoint here. I think we'll kind of wrap things up here. So, what did we add to the stream? Well of Embers, expanded the Danga Deeps a whole bunch, added Turkey. Added a lot more to the Bolivar Sea. Yeah, this is looking good. Alright, so before we end the stream, any burning questions people want me to answer before we call things here? Any things that must be answered? Okay, what do we got? By apologies, 1 second. Here we go. Grey Guardian asking, the Snails Hermanos, the snail has a fan club? Really? Okay, is in the Brazilian sector on planet Pantanal. Snail Club is on Pantanal, which is where? Have I added that yet, or are you just making up a system? Because I feel like I added that. Alright, if you're referencing something already on the map, good for you. If not, I guess maybe there's a patent now in the Well of Embers somewhere. Okay, but as for non-super chats, what do we got? How powerful are the space snails? Not at all. The snail is real. No, it's not. Who's in the Well of Embers? Nobody is in the Well of Embers. It is completely independent. So these are all just... I'm not sure if there's a single permanent colony in there. Maybe some space stations, maybe some mining facilities. Well, I mean, certainly mining facilities, but no actual settlements in the Well of Embers. I'm pretty sure. Arantagos, I pronounce all names wrong, my apologies, but Arantagos asking, what would stealth tech look like in DOV? Not entirely sure. It's one of those questions that I keep getting just because stealth and sci-fi is one of those things that everyone has opinions about. So I know stealth in DOV is probably more based on preventing targeting rather than concealing your existence, if that makes any sense. So you're not invisible, you just can't be targeted thanks to ECM or whatever it is. Alright, the snails are back. Bloodborne Duck saying, traversing through the Well of Embers is called the Snail's Pace. You know, you don't deserve this because I'm so tired about hearing about the snail, but you're absolutely right. That is a very clever thing. Traveling through the Well of Embers would be a snail's pace. So you've earned that, but only just. Is Space Vegas a planet, moon, or asteroid? It's gotta be a station, right? Space Las Vegas has gotta be like... Where is it? Space Las Vegas might actually be in the Pacific States. So... here's a question. Vegas. Could it be right there? Is that Vegas? Maybe. But I do like the idea of Space Las Vegas just being like a really horrible space station full of debauchery. Alright, but let's get through the rest of these super chats here. They're coming in fast and furious, it would seem to me. Okay, how interested are you in being courtiers being rivals with each other who couldn't typically be rivals back on, with countries being rivals with each other who wouldn't typically be rivals back on Earth? Yeah, the thing I keep saying is that history is not repeating. Sometimes it rhymes, sometimes it doesn't. So, two of the major rivals in the local cluster, India and Brazil, as far as I'm aware at least, don't have any natural rivalries in the modern era. So, not against it at all. Sometimes, you know, things stay the same. Other times, things evolve. Okay. And Dragon Master asking, where is Arcadia? So the location of Firebase Hector is somewhere in here. Haven't revealed it yet. And on that, I think we'll call it there, folks, unless I missed any last super chats. All right, nope, looks like we're good. Okay, so thank you all so much for joining me. But yeah, a couple things to mention. It's been a while since our last lore video on the Dawn of Victory secondary channel. The next one is in production and will be out somewhat soon, but the schedule of the secondary channel is dependent on the Templin Institute's main schedule. So one video per month, not necessarily one every 30 days. So there might be some space in between. Next week, we'll be taking the Wednesday off to just add these names, get the map looking good. Hopefully, you know, flesh out what all these things are called. But then the week after that, 2 weeks today, we'll be back for session number 5. In that session, we'll be revealing a new part of the map, probably the new Canaan corridor, because it looks cool, and doing some other stuff. So that'll be in 2 weeks from now. And yeah, I guess that's everything. So thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you got some insights into my world building process, or at least how bad I am in Illustrator. So thank you to everyone who donated super chats or just was commenting in chat here. Very much appreciated. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. See you later, folks.